crew, and welcome back to Trenches. I'm your host, Milan Terez. On this show, we have unfiltered conversations with entrepreneurs in the messy middle. We dig into the experiments, defining decisions, disasters, pivots, and breakthroughs that shaped their companies long before the world was watching. Before we get into it, if you like this episode, which I know you will, please take a moment and like, subscribe, and share this episode to your group chat. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Digging Deeper episode of Trenches, the podcast with Sarah Dalley. She is the founder of Bonding Over Books, a conversation game that helps book clubs get to know themselves and each other a little bit better. But today we are getting to know Sarah a little bit better. So, can you tell us, what are you watching right now?
Yeah, so I work from home and I always need just like background noise. I'm very late to the game, but the morning show has been something that I feel like I can turn on and kind of let run in the background and not have to like hone in on every single detail. But yeah, that's usually what's playing if I'm home alone and just need that background noise and a little entertainment.
I am the same way. I'm usually watching like 3 shows at a time. There's a show that I am dedicated to watching that I will pay attention to every single detail. And then I have a show like Friends that is just seasons long that I will just put on the background that I don't have to pay that much attention to, but I will like look up and watch for a couple seconds. And then there's always like a fun brain rot one that I watch. So what or who are you listening to right now?
Ooh, I am definitely listening to Olivia Dean. She is still on repeat, but actually, I should say I always screw up his last name. Noah Khan.
Mhm.
I feel like his music used to be a little challenging for me to listen to, truthfully, only because of like the things that it would bring up and being too sad. This new album, and now I've dipped back into his older stuff too. I don't know. I posted actually on TikTok about this recently. I'm like, I don't know if this says more about where I am at in my healing journey or what, but I'm really like loving listening to his stuff and kind of sitting in whatever it brings up for me.
I think you are probably the 5th podcast guest who has mentioned Noah Khan. And
Oh, really?
Olivia Dean is a queen. I have her also on repeat. I am dying for the next album or whatever she releases next. So I hear you on both of those for sure. And what is one thing you wish more people knew about you?
I think if you know me really well, you know this about me, but I am a very spiritual person. I don't know if that's something that comes off and like naturally, but once you get to know me, you definitely know I love numerology. I love astrology. I'm a big believer in signs from my spirit angels. So yeah, I'm big into spirituality. So if you're into that too, DM me.
DM Sarah, you guys. And what is the hardest decision that you've made in the last 90 days?
Oh my gosh, 90 days. I am planning a wedding right now. And so apart from building bonding over books, I've had to make so many decisions around all of the little wedding details. So I'm sure there are decisions wrapped within that were challenging for me to make. On the business front, we are doing a fun event this weekend. And I think it's been a little challenging, more challenging than I thought to get promotion out there. So I've had to like think fast and make decisions quickly. Just I don't know. Anytime you're trying something new, I think you're having to make those decisions that you're not used to making. So that's personal and business, I would say.
Absolutely. And congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank you.
We have a 2026 bride on the podcast. I love that. And what is something people assume about your success that isn't true?
I think that it's easy, truly, or that like I've had more resources and means to get to where I am. I think it hasn't been that way at all. And hopefully the rest of my podcast kind of shows that. But yeah, it's been a lot of late night grinding and days. And juggling life with work and career alongside trying to build something new. Yeah, I think it can look easier on the outside than it is on the inside, and also just probably the confidence piece as well. I don't know if people understand like the amount that it takes to put yourself out there.
Absolutely. And what has been the most expensive mistake that you've made thus far?
I would say going back to the brand development, I definitely invested in a few designers or runs of the product that I mentioned that were quite pricey, that were just weren't aligned to my vision. But I think it was all part of the process. So at the end of the day, I'm feeling okay about it. But in the moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I just spent so much money. I only have $10,000 to work with for this initial getting everything off the ground. That goes way more quickly than it sounds. And so those 2 moments were definitely like, oh shoot.
I know of some brand designers that are literally $10,000 just themselves. Like, forget your
Correct.
website or any marketing, just getting your logo and your brand deck is $10,000. So, getting that to stretch over your entire production run, I could definitely see that getting a little stressful and making some mistakes. And in those stressful moments, what is your emotional support item that you cannot live without?
Oh my gosh. Right now, it is my dog, of course. I have a golden retriever. His name is Henley. He is 90 pounds. He is my pride and joy. And anytime I am struggling through anything, I just take a break and I go cuddle with Henley, or we'll go for a walk together. So, yeah, I don't know what I did before him, truthfully. I think I would often go for a walk, and that's my way of clearing my brain and giving myself a dose of nature's medicine. But yeah, Henley.
Uh,
Yeah, get yourself a dog.
get a pupperoo,
Yeah.
everybody, if you can. And what belief about work did you have to unlearn while building your business?
Oh my gosh, I am definitely a type A perfectionist. And so I remember when creating my brand and hearing some podcasts, I wish I could like quote this properly and give them the credit it deserves, but it was something along the lines of if your first design or product isn't ugly, you probably waited too long. Like, truly, that it's okay to put out something that isn't absolutely perfect and that you can tweak it, and maybe ugly is too hard of a word, but that you just got to get it out there. And I mean, I've worked, as I mentioned, at so many startups that I think we've gone through so many different brand refresh. And so, like, just knowing that you can also have a brand refresh and you can change things. But I think just getting it out there and being okay with being a little ugly is all right. Yeah.
I am also a perfectionist, and I have realized that in my entrepreneurial journey as well, is that the perfectionism really, really can hold you back. So it is learn the tools that you can and get it out as fast as you can with enough like pride in whatever you're putting out there to be
Yes.
able to promote it and market it and whatever you need to do. But it really can hold you back. So I'm glad that we have both
Mhm.
unlearned and or continuing to unlearn that.
Yes.
And what is a non-negotiable in your daily ritual?
Ooh. I would say reading. I know that also sounds maybe a little bit too fitting for for what I do, but I think again, in addition to taking Henley for walks or cuddling with Henley, having that moment to myself and kind of getting out of my own head and into a story is very helpful to my mental health, and also, of course, in support of what I do and what I just love doing.
And if you weren't building bonding over books, what would you be building instead?
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if I should spill all of my other ideas, but I was being called to be an entrepreneur way earlier than when the idea for Bonding Over Books came to me. There were two things. One was I wanted to create a company that sourced travel sized products across all different brands. It was called Claire Voyage, which means a clear voyage. And it was when I was traveling, I was constantly on the go. And you could go to like Sephora and you could buy like Tata Harper's like set kit. But if I just wanted one thing from that brand and another thing from another brand, because I'm big into skincare and I don't use just one brand, I wanted a way to curate that, but have it in the proper size. So that was one of my ideas that maybe I'll return to at some point unless somebody wants to take it. The other one, I just came across a company doing this for recipes, which I love, where you can download this app. And if you find a recipe on Instagram, you can share it to that app and it will then like pull up the whole recipe for you. You can sort it. So that way, like all of those recipes that I've saved and never go back to on Instagram, I can now have this app that does that. And I wanted to, at some point again, create an app that I still think should exist where you can do that same thing where it connects to Google Maps. So like all of
Mm.
the things that you see on Instagram that you're saving, like send it to Google Maps so I can then pin it and be like, that's where I want to go. So those are two things that maybe I'll revisit at some point. If anybody wants to start those things, also reach out.
Absolutely. We're recruiting co-founders on this podcast now, you guys. Let's go. I love that.
Yeah. So always thinking, truly, but what is so special about Bonding Over Books is it's the one that felt the most organic in me and nothing about it was forced. And it just felt like something I could really build and grow on my own, at least to start.
That's absolutely true. And you have done an incredible, incredible job.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for joining us on Trenches, the podcast, and this Digging Deeper episode. For our crew members out there, if you haven't, go listen to Sarah's full episode. It was absolutely incredible. We talked about mental health, retail, books, book clubs, and meaningful conversations. So please head over to her full episode and give it a listen. And also head over to Instagram and TikTok and follow Bonding Over Books, or go to the show notes and pick up the conversation game from the bondingoverbooks.co website. Thank you again, Sarah, for joining me today on Trenches. I'm so grateful that you got to know us a little better and we got to know you a little bit better and have a much needed, meaningful conversation. For everybody out there, we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to follow us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Your likes, comments, and ratings make such a big difference in improving the show for each and every crew member. Also, if you're not already, come and join us on TikTok and Instagram at Trenches the Podcast, where we don't just share clips. We're creating a network of co-builders in the comments. Each post is designed to be a truly impactful addition to your scroll that will actually help you improve your journey in many different ways. Now, since you're already a part of the crew, this is how you step inside. By allocating to the fund on Patreon, you become a stakeholder in Trenches the Podcast and officially join our cap table. With access to private content, early drops, resources, and chats reserved for people truly in the work. Here is where you get the tools and the behind the scenes of what it really takes to get beyond the trenches. Your seat gives you direct access to contribute and make long-term decisions for our crew while finding community with fellow builders. It's time to take your seat at the table. Our mission is simple: make entrepreneurship less lonely. I'll see you in the next episode.